Hello, my name's Linda and this is my kitchen garden. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for my new subscribers. Really pleased that you've joined me into the madhouse. If you have a small garden, a really small garden like mine, now I'm going to talk you through what I do. So I have lots of things growing in planters, so don't think because you've got a small space you can't grow anything, because you can. And I'm going to show you what I grow in planters in a small space. Now at the front of my house I have a very small area, and in that area I grow a lot of things in tubs, pots, planters, so that you can, well, I'll show you that you can grow your own vegetables in a really small space. At the front of my house it's probably the size of a balcony, I'd say. So if you live in like an apartment block with a small balcony at the front of your apartment, you can grow pots in there. Now I'm going to take you to my garden at the front and I'll show you there. And I'll also show you the things that are in my small back garden that are grown in planters as well. Also my cucumbers. So I haven't dotted about, but my back garden is 30 square metres. Now at the front of the house, it's probably, now I haven't measured it, but I'm probably going to say it's about 4 square metres. That's it. It's very, very tiny. So that would possibly be a balcony size, or even smaller than a balcony. But I'll show you what I've got growing there. So come on, let's have a look. So as you can see, it's very small out here. There's not much space to grow at all. So I've done everything in planters, apart from this little border. So I've done like a little border around the edge. I don't mind a few weeds. I'm not perfect. So in there I've got tomatoes, I've got some, let me think what I put in there. I've got calendula, lavender. These are dahlias that I've grown from seed. I've never grown dahlias from seed, but I did this year. And that one's been chewed a little bit, but it's still going. And I have just recently planted sunflowers, so I've got 6 sunflowers at the front here. So I've got nasturtiums going there. These are tomatoes in these pots here. And I've got, these are mini bell, so these are small ones, but I have got the tall tomatoes as well. And tomatoes in there as well. And I've got a random sunflower that's growing there. So as you can see, it's very small. So you can grow things in a small area. I've got courgettes there, tomatoes again, courgettes there, and then these are flowers here. And then this is like a little dumping ground really at the side. So this is access that I've got to provide for the houses along. I'll show you. I've got to provide, so this is actually so it's very overgrown and stuff, but there's houses there, so I need to provide access to them, so I can't really do anything with it. So I've decided what I'll do is I'll clear it and I'll put some pots on. So I've just started with these. So these are onions in there and garlic in those two. And I'm going to do them all the way down the side, I think. I've got some loofah plants. I'm going to try and grow them up the fence. So that's going to be one of my next tasks, is to put some trellis on the outside and plant some loofahs and see if I can get them going outside as well. Just like these. And then we're back in the back garden. And again, in tubs, in like a little planter, I've got courgettes. And that's mustard, but that'll grow quite big, so I'll have to thin that out. I'll have to perhaps take some out. Herbs in there, lots of different herbs. And another courgette in there. And then in this big planter here, I've got tomatoes, flowers. There's a bit of a mixture in there, nasturtiums. Just planted a mixture of things. Cucumber in there, and another little planter. And then these here are old fridges. So I had two, like a little mini fridge that we used to put drinks in. And then that one over there, which was just like just a standard fridge, under counter fridge. And I put onions in them, so there's tomato plants in them. I made a hole in the bottom to make sure that they drained. And then I filled them with compost and just put them in a corner, because I thought they just made cheap planters to recycle. And I grow onions. Well, I grow all sorts in those, to be honest. And I've got another planter here. And this has got all herbs in. And then I've got planters there as well. So they've got garlic in those two. I've got one with onions that I planted all close together. I use those as spring onions. Those there. And there's onions in that one as well. But this is one of the stackable planters. So in there I've got lots of herbs. I've got potatoes in there, and I'll show you my other potatoes as well. I grow potatoes in bags. So these are my potatoes here in bags. They're all coming on lovely. And they're actually bags that you buy for growing potatoes in. And then obviously when you've not got the space, you've got to grow upwards. So I've attached little things to my fence to grow in. So they've got tomato plants in. And they're strawberries, as you can see there. We've got a beauty at the back there coming out. I've got another one there with the strawberries in. And like I say, yes, these stackable planters here. So you get 6 tiers, and that one's full of herbs there. And this one here. It's got all sorts in it. So I've just planted peas. I need to top that up with soil because I watered them, and so can you see they're all sprouting there. So I'm going to grow, I had pak choy in here, but I'm going to grow pea shoots in these now, here where I took the pak choy out. They're going to have pea shoots growing out of those. If you've never had pea shoots before, if you just plant some peas, I've done a short on pea shoots, but if you just plant some peas, do them quite thickly in a shallow container. They don't have to be deep at all. So these are like microgreens. If you've never had them before, do that. They taste like, if you like the taste of fresh peas, that's what they taste like. So you just cut the shoots off and you eat the shoots. And I'll show you on my other peas. So when they get to probably about that size, then you just snip them off. And then they'll grow back. You have to snip them off at a certain level, and then you'll probably get about 2 or 3 harvests from them, and you eat that. You eat the whole thing, because it just tastes like peas. They're absolutely delicious. Put them on a salad. There's little ones there to show you. If you leave them to get too big though, they get a bit woody, so you need to do them when they're babies. So that's why I've just planted some in there, in my other planter, so that I can just get the baby tender shoots, so that they're just absolutely delicious. Try them. If you've never tried them before, I promise you, you will absolutely love them. And you can grow those on a windowsill. You don't even need to grow them in a planter. You can put those in a tray on a windowsill and they'll grow quite happily there. Now in this planter, I've got growing kale. I've put a cauliflower in to see how that'll do. I've got green kohlrabi growing in there. These are spring onions at the top, so they're nearly ready. Well, they're, say that's ready to be harvested really. I can take that up. And there we are. One lovely spring onion, look at that. Take the other up as well. There we are, they'll go on the salad tonight, lovely. And then I've got all my tomatoes in my greenhouse, all in planters. They're all in planters, they're not in the soil. They're petunias that I've knocked off. Can't believe it, I caught them and knocked two off, so I've just put them in the soil. And these are all tomatoes, so I've done those in, if you can see in there, it's in a actual bag of compost, but I've put it inside one of those Hessium sacks that coffee beans come in. That one's just soil in the sack. That's in the actual bag because I didn't know which. The bags decompose, don't they? So I thought I'd try both and see which one were better. But yeah, so, and I've put all my tomatoes on string so that I can tie them up. So when they start to grow, I just wrap them around the string instead of having canes. Because I'm in the greenhouse, the canes are a bit short and they touch the glass, so these are better. So I did them all with canes last year and I decided that this year I wasn't going to use canes, so I've put string on them all. And we've got flowers as well, so that means the tomatoes are on the way. Can't wait. And then with my carrots, I've got them growing in polystyrene containers. So I haven't thinned them out, and the reason that I haven't thinned them out is that I don't want to encourage the root fly. So carrot root fly goes off the scent of the carrot. Now if I start pulling these out and start thinning them, then that's going to release the scent of the carrots. So what I'm waiting for is for them to get to a decent size, and then I'll start pulling them out individually then and leaving the others with room. But because they're in a greenhouse, then I'm hoping that I'm not going to get as many problems with the root fly. But again, you could even grow these in a box, you know, like in a storage box or something like that. You could quite easily pop some compost in there, as long as it's got drainage underneath. Put some draining holes in the bottom of your storage box, fill it with compost and put some carrots in it. Put some carrot seeds on top. You only need to shake them on top and water them and watch them just appear. So there's the possibilities of growing in a small space are endless. And then my cucumbers are all coming on great. And they're all on string as well, so I've trained those across. They go across the ceiling of my conservatory. there. But obviously, if you've not got a conservatory, then you could, if you're in a warmer climate, you can grow them outside. I'm not in a particularly warm climate, but I'm still going to grow some cucumbers outside. You just won't get as big a harvest, that's all, if you're not in a warm climate. But there are cucumbers on there, so I'm happy. So I hope I've given you some ideas. Don't think that because you've got just a small space, even if you've got just a windowsill, that possibilities are endless. You can grow a small tomato plant on your windowsill, pea shoots, microgreens. You can grow absolutely all sorts of small plants. You could even grow there are small cucumber plants that you can grow on a windowsill. So don't think you can't grow anything, because you can. If you want to produce your own food, there are ways and means around it. So you have a look, and I hope I've given you some inspiration. If you like my channel and you like what you've watched, please subscribe. It helps my channel grow, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now. Bye.